having awareness of your own skills and abilities is really important if you want to get better at stuff. So today, as part of the Hard Way project, so nine days of crazy challenges, we aimed as a team to fall 100 kilometers. So we went indoor skydiving, and this is all to raise money for Great Ormond Street Hospital. And at the end we got a rating of like how good we were basically, and I got 3 out of 3 stars for stability, which is really good, or for like belly flying, whatever. Hey Binge. And it's just super important to understand, I'll put a video of it, when you're trying to learn something, having context of what doing it right looks and feels like will allow you to speed up how quickly you improve. Put it this way, if you cannot be self-critical and say, this is where I'm struggling and this is where I'm not doing amazing, this is where I need to improve, you're going to have a really hard time improving if you don't have a coach there constantly telling you. And this is definitely something I've noticed training a sales team, is that you can show a clip of their own performance to a team of people, and it's really quickly obvious who's going to be good and who's not based on can they see the mistakes. And you know, this is not something that, in the example of the sales training, it's not something that they are expected to know. It's something I've taught them in the past, but they still can't remember it to then be able to see it, which makes being self-critical really, really difficult if you don't know what you're looking for. Especially when you're doing a skill like skydiving today, where we had no verbal feedback, and they were holding on to us. So we got very little proprioceptive feedback. So like internal, like where's my body, where am I located, and what's that doing? Because they were physically holding us, stopping us moving. And so throughout lots of the things today, I was talking with Rich, who's done over 4,000 skydives and used to actually coach formation skydiving. And I was just asking him, like, how do you move forwards? And he's like, oh, so you bring your arms closer in or you stick your legs further out and that'll push you forwards. And if you want to go back, you do the opposite. So you stick your arms out, you create more drag, it will push you backwards. And I was like testing that, but it was kind of hard to do. And another one was, so you're naturally in this like banana shape, and that's when you're falling fastest. And if you want to fall slower, you flatten out. So what that feels like is like going to touch your toes rather than being banana and bent back. You like squeeze your abs a little bit. But if you don't have someone there telling you these things, it's really hard to get feedback. And like that's a skill that you need to learn, is to say, what am I looking out for? Where am I trying to improve? What does that look like? If you can answer those questions, you can then be self-critical and you will improve at things faster, and you'll become that person that they're like, oh, so good at everything. And like, you're not, you're just aware and you're just trying to do things intentionally. And that's the trick to improving. So, you know, when people say, and we asked the instructor at the end, I was like, how long is this going to take you to get qualified to be able to do these high fly things? And his answer was very vague. He's like, oh, I don't know, it takes each person a different amount of time. And I'm like, yeah, what's the fastest you can physically do it in? Is there like a time requirement you have to do? And he kept coming down to experience will help you do these things. And like more practice. And I'm like, yeah, more practice of the right stuff. So volume will give you context. It will give you understanding as to what is important. Like if I tell you the perfect cues to do for a handstand, but you've never been upside down, the feeling of being upside down will be so disorientating that you don't know what's important to listen to until you've tried it. And so doing is probably the best thing you can do to gain context. Then once you have the context, you can then be self-aware, which then means you can be self-critical. And then you can have this feedback cycle and get better and better and better. But for most people, that initial context is going to be the biggest jump to unlocking stuff. So if you want to get good at things quickly, dive in the deep end, put your hand up first, be willing to be the first person to try stuff. and increasing how quickly you get that context will increase how quickly you get good. So that's it for the day, and that's a goodbye from little Benji. No. See you guys later.